Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Recently, Peter did a video on why he doesn't shoot with film anymore, and he touched on the film grains that he's created and uses in his digital work. So lots of people were asking about it, and this is a quick run through of how he creates them, how he uses them. If you do want a much more detailed explanation of this, you can head over to Inspire, where there is also 8 of his film grains for you to download and use on your own photos. So there's a link down below if you want to go check that out and download them on Inspire. But now we'll just get straight into a quick little run through of it.
So I love my digital, but I love my film, and quite often film can be very slow, waiting for it to get processed. It's getting very expensive now. And sometimes I don't have the turnaround, and sometimes I want to have a little bit more freedom when I'm shooting, like I have with digital. I can fire off, it doesn't cost me enough, get the model into a mood, then get some pictures. With film, I can't do that, otherwise I'm just going to be throwing money down the drain and trying to get that exact picture with some models. You can't get them to hold. Well, I don't like making models hold, but sometimes you need them to hold because you need to get that shot. So there's a workaround you can do. You can either use plugins that gives you film lookalikes and things like that, or you can do what I do. Now, I've already done this on another camera before, and I've already got pre-saved up some films, but I've decided with some of the cameras I've got now, I'm just going to run a few different films through to make up an overlay to go in Photoshop. So what I'm going to do is each of these cameras, I'm going to do a bracketing of 3 stops on them just to make sure these lenses are going to vary a little bit. And I'd rather with film overexpose a fraction than underexpose. So I've got now my digital Hasselblad, but with a film back. So it doesn't give me the same as my 503, which gives me a 6x6 square. This is much smaller. It's about half the size really. And I'm just going to take a shot. A triple bracket, so I'm just going to leave it the 6.3, so I'm on tripod. From 1/25th, I'm going to come down to an 80th and then a 50th. I'm now going to put some Tri-X 400 on. So that was at a 50th, an 80th, and a 1/25th. All right, so I'm going to run off 2 at 5.6, 125th. That should be right to go. Just to make sure that's a 60th, and I'm going to go to a 30th for the last one. 2 more to go. I've just got a Mamiya RB67. And the very last one is just like on a little Leica M3 HP5 on this. So I'll send all this stuff off to the lab, I'll scan it in, put it into the computer, then show you how I use it. So I'm just going to quickly run through my scanning method. I'm about to scan my film grain in, so then I can use it as overlays later on. The rig I've got here is from a company called Negative Supply. They make a good rig. You can just buy this bottom bit and a tripod and set it up, or you can go through the whole lot. I won't go into detail on this. I'll put a link to their name in the description, and if you want to look them up, you'll find heaps about it on YouTube. I've fed my film into the actual carriage unit. I'm using my Sony AE9, which is 60 megapixel. I've got a macro 90mm lens on it. My settings, I tend to shoot at 5.6, 100 ISO, and because I'm all fixed down, I think I'm shooting about 15th of a second. I'm just getting my exposure correct on this. I'm tethered with the Sony into Image Edge, which is a Sony program, and I have got a list on the side of the order I took these pictures, so I can do my test later on. So just the different f-stops and so forth. So it's as simple as just taking a picture. So the first 1 or 2 images are a little bit fiddly because I can't use the roller yet to pull the film through. But once I get the film up to the actual roller, then it gets really quick and easy. So, right, so now the roller's grabbed it. Get the locked down. Because this is pretty much straight out of the lab, it's been in a sleeve, there's very little dust, so a lot of the times I don't even have to do dusting. There is a little brush that it goes through, which will de-dust it as well. So now it's just as simple as me rolling this to a point and taking a picture. And I can just roll through a whole film very, very quickly. Now, one of the things that you will see, so this is 120 film, but this was shot on my H6 with a film back. So you'll see that it's quite a bit smaller than full-size medium format. And I've just got a couple of shots in here from another shoot. So you'll see how quick this is. It is so much quicker than doing it on a flatbed scanner, or even my drum scanner was a bit of a nightmare. It used to take me about 2 minutes per picture. So that's all finished, and then it's just into Lightroom. So now I've got the negatives brought into Lightroom. This was me just shooting the white wall on the Mamiya with the Ecta 100. If I now bring this into develop, I'm going to just get this back to, in fact, I'm going to do it right on the picture because this is supposed to be grayscale anyway, and go straight into my curves, and I'm just going to flick them all reverse. Straight away, now you can see there's still a bit of a color cast on that. That's fine, that's the film color cast. So if I'm going to use this as a overlay and without any color, because I'm doing it on my black and whites, I can jump in now. I can grab one of my LUTs, my black and white color fill LUT, which is basically a neutral black and white. There it goes there. Come across here, and if I look at my numbers up here, I need these to be sitting around about 50, because in Lightroom is different to our 18% gray, which 18% gray is 128 red, green and blue. In Lightroom, 18% gray is 50, 50, 50. So I'm just going to adjust my sliders, and it'll be reversed. Remember, we've reversed this, so my sliders reversed. So to go darker, I've got to go up. And I'm going to try and bring that back to the middle. So I'm looking at this area here. All of this and this are the borders. This is what the bulk of this area here is. If I come into the middle, I'm a fraction too dark, so let's bring it down. I want to try and get it as close as I can to, that's 50.3, it's around the 51, so I'll live with that. Just means it's going to be slightly lighter, which I can always change later on. So now all I have to do is export this out as a TIFF and then take it through to my next step. So now how I use this, I've got a picture on here which was shot on the H6. I just go into one of my grain libraries. I'll grab my Tri-X, which was shot also on my H6, but with a film back on the back of it. And I will just drag this out to fit. Now, this has already been scanned larger than my H6 file, so it's not going to, I'm not tearing pixels. I bring it out to the size. Now, definitely with some of these films, you can see I've got a bit of light leak on the edges, but that's some of the things I want to grab into this picture. Now, this picture's already been manipulated in the scan to be my 18% gray, and it's already black and white color balanced. If I just come in here and change my blending mode to overlay, you'll see there's before and there's after. You see the light leak comes in on the sides, but what's more important, and you'll only see this more in print, you won't see this on web, but you will definitely see this in print. So if I bring this up to 100% size, now have a look at the difference this makes. It takes it away from a digital to an analog, and this is why I love doing this, because this would have been very similar to what the picture would have looked like, except if I'd shot this picture on Tri-X, there's no way known I could have got this look, because this was a color picture and then worked to my settings. So for me to get a Tri-X version of this, I could never be able to do. But now I can shoot my shot and then put a Tri-X grain onto a picture that was shot in color, that allowed me to manipulate this in a way to get my black and whites, not a Tri-X black and white or a Leica monochrome black and white or a Ilford black and white. It is my black and white with a Tri-X grain on it,
And this is why I doubt I'll be shooting film anymore, because now I can use all my different film grain stocks and all my vignetting from cheap lenses to add to my digital color pictures, which I can manipulate the way that I want to see them.
So we hope you guys enjoyed that. As I said, if you want a more in-depth version of it and to download 8 of Peter's film grains, you can head over to Inspire, but I will also put up some other film videos that Peter's done on the screen now.